Hello, 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 hello. All right, welcome. So I've never done this before, ever. PageKey, live stream. Not sure how this is going to go, but let's try it out. I usually try to edit these videos to have no dead air or anything, so this won't have that quality. It'll be maybe a little less interesting, but yeah, I want to experiment with this idea of streaming live, so let's see how it goes and see if it works. I think it's working. I think it's live, so I guess we can just start. Um, so earlier today I was doing some testing. I created a completely separate account here called PageKey Streaming, and it's not a member of any of the PageKey projects here. So the idea is that everything that I do on this stream, all this work that happens, is something that anyone could do. So it could be public. So yeah, so this account has no special permissions, and I've found that I can create issues, I can edit them, and I can comment on them and close them out. What I can't do is edit an issue that I created on my actual account. There's no edit option, and I can't close it either. So that's interesting that it does those permissions. That's pretty cool. But the purpose of today's video, I think, is going to be working on this. So I've really filled out the PageKey GitLab quite a bit over the past few days. Basically anything that's like a one-off that you can't actually pick up and use went into the education folder. I moved completely away from the GitHub. Everything now points over, it's archived and points to the GitLab. I think they all have links. Yes, it has a link to the GitLab. So everything's in the education folder now that is not an application. We have the roadmap for planning and libraries and applications. So boom, not much here yet. Same for PageKey Fit. Tunes, PKOS does exist and has a whole series, and people are asking about it. So this will probably be the first focus. PKVid has a couple videos too about how that works. But these are all in a pretty rough state right now, and none of them are really ready to pick up and go. The idea is let's do work on these live, and if other people want to get involved, sure, let's do it. But yeah, I don't know. Before that happens though, these all need to be really well documented, and we need like a paradigm for keeping that documentation in sync with the code and having it so that you could just pop open the code base and learn about it yourself without too much effort, whether it's through watching videos, reading the readmes or the documentation sites or what have you. So that brings us back to today's video, which is I'd like the docs folder, which PKOS already has this, has some video notes and things like that. I want this docs folder to stay just markdown files, nothing special in here, no scripts or anything. Maybe some images is fine. And then I would like to have a Python package that takes this and generates a Sphinx site. So, and I have ChatGPT open, this should be good enough. But if you ask ChatGPT, how can I get started making a docs site for Python code, it's going to tell you to use Sphinx, right? It's the first thing it says. And what Sphinx does is generates a bunch of RST files, and it has a make file and some other scripts. Those I'm trying to avoid and instead have a single Python package that'll just read this directory structure and generate a site. And that's nice because I don't have to have a bunch of different copies of the make file all over the place. We can have a single entry point for all of these PageKey applications, documentation websites. So that's that. So I wrote this issue to kind of outline how to do that. And let's see. So basically, here's my idea. The first step is setting up this repo structure so that it's a Python package, and eventually we can publish it to PyPy, set up unit testing so that we could do test-driven development, and then just work our way through, can we generate a directory with HTML files? How do we hook that up to Sphinx, maybe using Jinja too for templating? How do we run Sphinx? How do we inject metadata about the website into it and then produce the final output? And then add a design doc for how it all works. So these design docs are going to be essential to keeping this transparent so that people can come in not knowing much and just read the documentation website and figure out how this stuff works so that they can make contributions as well. So yeah, so let's get started, I guess. Enough talking. So I created the repo for this. Where is it at? And maybe we could take an hour and just see how far we can get. So I'm going to work on that first checkbox. So set up repo structure. I'll just link back. This would be nice to, it'd be nice to use the epics feature on GitLab, but I'm not paying for Ultimate, so this will have to do. And I'll just put a note to myself. I can't edit this from the public, so I'll just say in this issue. Okay, and I cannot create a branch. That's a problem. I wonder how to fix that. I'll do one locally for now. Okay. I'll figure out the permissions later, but let's start by cloning down the repo. Okay, good, that works at least. And there's nothing here. Okay, so let's open up PyProject. Definitely do not know the format, so let's just ask ChatGPT. It's a good start. But we need some metadata. Okay, cool. I don't know why I put in build system twice. So I think I'm just gonna not use that part. Okay, looks good. I need a toml extension. Okay, so this is going to be called PageKey Docgen. And we'll go with that. And greater than 3.8 seems good. I don't know what I have locally. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's a start. All right, good enough. So I guess that can be a commit. What's the branch name? Okay, get a branch going. It's probably not going to let me push. If not, I'll figure it out later. Yeah, no permission, so I got to figure out how that works. How people who aren't in the project can have branches. I don't know if I'm allowed to let people just make branches on it or what, but maybe that's a security problem or something. I don't know. But let's see. What's next? So we'll make some source directories, tests, and then let's see if we can get a single test case running. Is there a way to install with poetry? Oh, I don't even have poetry installed? Okay. Okay, so we need to use the poetry build system. There we go. And then can I install PyTest with poetry? Does that actually work? Oh no, that's to install. Alright, whatever. Let's just see what version it grabs and put it in. I don't know what the right way to do this is, but this will work. Oh wow, 0.0. That's scary. Okay, so it didn't run any tests. That's good. Okay. Oh, we can't push. Okay. That'll be fine for now. And then, okay, so I guess we're ready for our first test. Now let's think about what that could be. So this says to set up hello world with main. So I guess we can set a main script. So this should work with python-m, but I'm not sure if we have to set up the source folder or maybe it works on its own. I don't know what this is. Okay. Oh, that actually worked. Didn't have to specify anything. Okay, that's great. So we have a hello world. But we also want, if it's installed, to be able to run PageKey Docgen as a CLI option. So how do we make that work? I think we just have to add a script. I don't know the syntax. Let's ask the good old AI. Okay, perfect. So we'll just fill that out. So I think we need a CLI.py is where I like to put it usually. I like to call it that. Maybe we should call it main. Then we can just import it. Now how do I set, I want to use there we go, use the poetry environment. Okay, perfect. Now, does that work still? Hello world 2, 1E1, good enough, okay. that works. And then we just have to get docgen dot CLI main, and then this should be PageKey Docgen. See if that works. Okay. That works. Okay, so I'm going to just say add CLI script. And then what else? What else? We could see how our coverage is doing. Probably not too exciting yet. See what we're missing. Okay. We need PyTestCov. For some coverage. And what did it grab? 410. Does that work? Yes. No data. I wonder if this is the source folder causing issues. Do I have to is that a module or a file path? There we go. I wonder if I can encode that as a function somewhere. I don't know. So it's basically missing everything, but we don't want to cover that main file because it's just one thing. We definitely want to ignore that coverage data. And we'll add a coverage RC. I'm going to ask ChatGPT for help. Keep it simple. Oh, perfect. We're going to emit see if that worked. Okay, perfect. Now it's just mad about CLI.py. What else is it mad about? No data was collected. Not sure why it says that. But, I mean, it gave the data, so. Let's try to test that method and just get the coverage. So, we have good bones for this project. Perfect. And it, yeah, so the error went away, the warning, right? Yeah, it's gone. Okay, cool. Still can't push. It's annoying. Okay. So let's go back to the plan. I wish I could edit this too, but that's okay. Added a smoke test, and then so now we need to generate an HTML file with the directory listing in it. I guess that's a nice way to start. All right, so let's set up a sample project here. So it's going to have a docs folder. And let's call it index.md. Maybe we're documenting some subsystem. Okay. Now, given these, we want to generate the file list and maybe just print it to start. So what we should work towards is this CLI should accept a directory to start off with. So our test is going to change a little bit, and we're going to pass it we have to patch sys argv or something like that. Well, let's just do it like this, and we'll set it up to use argv otherwise. So we're going to say okay, so how does this work? Is it going to be a list? Well, I shouldn't write that yet. So let's just make sure this is red. Yep, that doesn't work. And then we can say args list a string. That's the easiest thing that we could possibly do. Now it's green, and now we can refactor. I think I would like I don't know if this counts as refactoring, but let's just pass in the sysargs as the default and see if that still passes. And then just a little in place test. If we run PageKey Docgen with that, it still works. With a warning. Let's print the args. Oops. Okay, it actually works. Perfect. Okay, so I guess I should commit. Can't push. Okay. So next we should check and make sure that that directory exists and fail if it doesn't. So test main fails when directory does not exist. So I guess we're gonna have to like patch os dot path.exists. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT, I don't know. Let's see how much it can do. Let's just give it the whole thing. Should at least show how to patch it. Okay, I'm going to steal the patch code. Host.path.exists, return value equals false. Do I have to import? Okay. And then we'll specify that this is mock exists. Assert that we called exists. And this should also raise. So pytest.raises, and we should probably come up with a custom exception for clarity. Docster not found exception? I don't know. Is that a good name? Not really. I think you can just extend exception, right? We'll import that. We'll import this guy. And I guess we have to run the test. Okay, so is it red? It is red. Okay. So the easiest way to make this green would be to just raise texture not found exception. But it's also mad because it didn't call exist. So let's just say if not os.path that exists. Well, okay, we can do this, but we're going to have to go back and do arg parse properly. All right, so if that first arg doesn't exist, then yeah, nothing. Okay, so now we can actually refactor a little bit. And I know there's a better way to test arg parse, but I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. But anyway, we can refactor to use arg parse without changing the test, I think. So let's import arg parse. I always forget the syntax for this too. So can you write some arg parse code to, I'm going to start a new conversation, to accept one, what is it, like a named parameter, one positional parameter named docs directory, docs_dir. Nice. I'll take it. Copy and paste. So, description. Process some documents. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Docs_dir, it's a string, the path to the documents directory. Yeah, it seems fine. And then now instead of arg0, we can just say args dot, what is it? Docs_dir, right? I think that works. And then, well, let's see. Nope. Got the name wrong too. Can we set the name? I know there's a way to do that. Prague. Okay, sure. Prague. Nice. Okay, so for some reason it did not think that, maybe I shadowed the args thing here. Debug. Definitely not a good idea to shadow that variable. Okay, so it did get that. No. No. Sys argv is just, Oh no, it's overridden. Okay, so we're just getting docs. What's going on here? So, okay, by default, I think this guy is using sys.argv. So where's that? Oh, here it is. Maybe I'm over relying on poor old ChatGPT here, but parse args and you pass the args list. Okay, that's a better name too. Okay. Oh, I should be passing. Now, can I dereference this like that? Somehow. I know there's a way to do that. That's fine. I'll just update the test. Okay. That's good, I guess. So now, if I run PageKey Docgen, I should get an error when there's no docs directory. Oh, I can get rid of that print. Okay, so it raises. I don't know if we want a raw stack trace, but I guess that's fine. Okay. What do we got? We did the whole check. Okay, so we can say okay. Now, when it does exist, what are we going to do? I think we need to call some other function that does something. So maybe we should just go write that one first. Core is a terrible name, but let's start with core. And in core, we can test. I think the first thing would be to grab the list of files that we need to pass. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. So test, what would we name this function? Get files list returns list of files, returns all files when directory exists. It's a long name, but specific. So we're going to say get files list docs. And obviously that's red, because that doesn't exist. So now we'll say get files list, and we'll pass. There we go. It still doesn't pass because we have to import it. And then what else? Is it green? No. Okay. Well, I guess we can spell that out. I'm going to call it path. Okay, so that passes. Now, let's get a little more specific. We pass that directory. So we have to mock some kind of OS return. I think it's probably going to be like glob or walk or something. How do you get all the files in directory recursively in Python? Glob or walk. Let's see what it says. Walk. Okay. Oh, I'm tempted to just take this. So OS walk is returning root, dirs, and files. Let's see what it says. I just want to understand those outputs. Okay, nice. So we can use this to write the test. So we want to patch os.walk, and the return value is going to be a list. First entry, we can just call it dot. I don't think it matters. Directories is going to be a list. Folder 1. Files is going to be a list. File1.txt. And we'll call this dot/folder1. Directories is empty, and files is file.txt. Okay. So given that output of os.walk, first of all, I think we should assert that we called walk. Assert called. Okay. It's red. We did not call it. Now we should call it, but we should actually call it with a valid argument. So let's say okay, let's say my path equals docs. So we're going to pass my path in, and we're expecting it to be called with my path. Is that the case? No. But we can make it the case. And it should be green now. Okay, it's green. Alright, so next thing to specify. I think we can just assert what the output is now. So the list. Alright, so it would be really nice to have access to those variables. So, well, no. Let's just assert the list should be 2, because we only have 2 files. And we should have both of those files in that list. Naming could have been better for those 2 files, but whatever. So that's not going to be true at all. It's not returning anything. So to fix that error, we just return an empty list. List with 2 things. Okay, we actually have to use our brain now. Let's see. For, what is it? Root, dirs, files, in, result.extend files, and we'll just have to have a result list that we return at the end. Oop. Let's see if that works. Oh. Okay. What's wrong here? Oh, I did this backwards. So we got 2. Oh, why? Shouldn't it be iterating this? Let's see. Let's see what's going on with this. What is test getting set to? Interesting. Oh, I doubled up the list. That's my mistake. Okay, that's what's expected. So if we go back, that should look a little bit better. Oh, it's green. Okay. All right, so that's good that we have that function now. Probably could have just not done that, but now that we have the files list, I think we can generate the output given that files list, right? For each file, we want to copy it into a directory of some sort. So I guess we could have a function that is create output directory. Output directory works creates directory. I'm thinking 2 test cases here. Oop. Why can't I copy that line? It's okay. So I'm thinking it should work for nested and single depth, whatever. So we should be able to say create output directory, my directory, and then we should be able to say that it called, let's start with that, but so obviously that's going to fail. This is such a roundabout way of doing it, but gotta do TDD. All right, that should pass, I think. Okay. Yeah, so basically we'll create the output directory and we'll start by just copying files into it, I think, is the best way to go. And I think for now we should just by default create it in a build directory locally. So we can just delete any paths and we'll just create it in /build. So that should still be green. We can say mock, what is it, make ders, I think. We don't need that nested test. And we can patch os.makeDirs. Is that it? Is that it? Yep, that's a function. Okay. So we should call makeDirs with build. Exist OK equals true. You know what we should actually do is probably remove that directory first. But one thing at a time. Well, I guess we could have a separate function for that, which is kind of silly, but that's okay. So how far in are we here? How long has this been running? Oh, 45 minutes? Feels like nothing. All right, let's keep going. This is probably the most boring thing to watch, but whatever. All right, let's keep this going. So we will create a directory, and we should be calling makeDirs. Okay, so os.makeDirs build exist OK equals true. Actually, I really don't think we should specify exist OK. We should be removing it beforehand, so it shouldn't exist. So that's that. Oop. Okay, and then how do you remove properly? shell util. Remove tree. Okay, so I guess it makes sense to actually do these little mini methods because otherwise I forget how to do this stuff anyway. So test clean builder clean, let's just call it remove output directory, removes directory. I don't know. And anybody naming folders build should be ready for them to be wiped away anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much about confirming right this second. So remove output directory, and that's going to fail because we didn't import it. This is literally one line of code. Okay. Let's keep going. Still fails. Oops. And we have to import remove output directory. Okay, it's all passing. All right, we can create the directory, we can remove the directory. I think we need a method to copy a file in. I might call it render a file because eventually we are going to use templating and stuff like that to swap things out, but we'll just call it render file for now. So test render file adds file to output directory. Test render file with valid file, long name. And for now, we're just going to say render file, a file. A file can be docs/index.md. So first of all, it should exist. So let's say render file, and it should accept an argument. File, we could call it path. So rendering the file. What's next? Is the stream still working? I think it is. Okay. Render file. That passes. Now what are we specifying? Now I think that we should say that I guess we can just say that shell util copy gets called for now. Oh, I think it's actually copy. Okay, let's see if that doesn't fail. So it didn't get called, and then we should just say shell util.copy, copy the path into the build directory. Let's start with that. But really it should maintain. I don't like that. So let's change the spec. That should work fine. I think it should like change directory into the docs folder before it starts doing this stuff. So we'll assume it's relative to the current working directory, and then we'll say, let's make another case that says test render file with nested file adds file to output directory. CP basically going to be the same test case, but we are going to, we're going to copy this guy into build/docs because it's going to be in the, well, let's call it subsystem / that. And there you go. So we're going to copy that in there, and it should copy it into build/subsystem. And it also should make, what did I call this before? Make ders. Assert called with, it should call that with build/subsystem. So somehow it should figure out that path. We could actually do another one that's way nested, but let's start with that. So we need copy, we need make ders. I don't remember if it's that order. I think it is. Okay, so mock make ders was not called, so let's see. Is there a way to get a relative path? Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT. Real path. Rel path. What's that do? What if I do /home/stream? Aha! That's helpful. So, I think the way to go here, I'm not sure. Well, I guess test-driven development, we should just make this test pass. So, the easiest way to do that is, but we need the old one to pass too. So, if we get the relative path, it should return it should return subsystem. And then we can make ders, join the path, build dir rel path. Exist OK equals true. I think that might work. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it actually called that. Okay, so that's perfect. So really we just need the relative path. We need the dir name of the path. That's what we really need. And then now it's just not doing the copy. That's perfect. So, and then we just need to join build dir rel path, and we're good to go. Oops. I think we should just say, we need to mock that out too. I think that's what it would output, right? Okay, so we are calling that, but we're getting that, which is equivalent anyway. So I'm okay with that. I can make it work. It can return that. Both are failing. Make ders. Why is it still doing that? make dir's dir rel path. Oh, we need to be using our dir rel path here. That's why we test. Okay, did we get any further? Make dirs is not being called with the right stuff. I'm gonna have to stop soon because I am running out of steam here, but this is all starting to look like mush. The relative path. What am I even looking at? I really want to get this to work though. So it's calling make dirs with the wrong thing. Why is it not getting the dir name? Oh, I probably need to also mock dir name? That's crazy. Alright, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Is it path dir name? Yep. Okay. Alright, I give up. Just tell me what's going on here. Path. I don't care about this test case. Okay, path. Okay. Dir rel path is what? No. Wrong. Path. I probably don't have to mock that part out. Anyway. That's the wrong output. I think this mocking is bad. We shouldn't be doing this mocking. Let's try without that. I don't care about that case yet. No path specified. Why didn't I even get to the breakpoint? Oh. Oh boy. Let's start with this. Gonna mess everything up. Don't care about the first one. Okay, path. Okay. So dir rel path subsystem. Okay. We should not be making those directories. We should be making build dir rel path. We can rename this to like source dir rel path. Still not very pretty. But anyway, we create the destination and then we copy it into the destination directory. Okay. That makes sense. Let's get the first one. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, the second one is passing. Now let's fix the first one. Oh, I don't need that anymore. No path specified. Wonder why. Okay, so, and it's saying that where? Row path? It's saying it, trying to define source row path. So, we only want row path is if dir name. Well, let's see what dir name is. Because I don't know. Dir name is empty. So if dir name is empty, source dir row path is just, well, we don't even need to do anything. Seems a little too complicated, but whatever. And then either way, we create the directory and we copy it. I think that's reasonable. But let's see. Alright, that's way too complicated, but whatever. Okay, I think that's good. Guess I can add some doc strings now. Don't end with a whatever that's called in grammar. Too bad. Remove the output directory recursively. Clean the project. And then rendering a file. Okay. And then, does this require any special comments? I don't know. I don't think so. Keep it simple. Okay, that's nicely documented, I guess. These tests are kind of self-documenting, so I don't think we need anything there. So I'm going to commit this, and I think we have a solid foundation for this documentation tool. So I might call this a first stream. So what's this commit all about? Implement render file, probably some other stuff too. Add doc strings. That's it. And then I gotta figure out how to push, but I'll do that after the stream. Okay, so I streamed, and it was probably pretty boring, but thanks for bearing with me. I'm gonna stop it now. Have a nice day.